So, did I miss one? No, I didn't. Okay. You could say, we need $200 million. Actually, I'd settle for $100 million, and we need something. And you could say, it's easy to say, well, we don't have any money. Let's look at that. 10 years. So you have the number of research projects. It's real obvious, and you adjust for inflation and add the roadmap, add a complementary medicine. It's not like the NIH is speeding right along with huge amounts of money. So I understand that, but we have been waiting 30 years. Interesting. Look at the year 2000. I know it's the third one over. The green line is the most interesting. This is the success rate. So the number of applications gone sky high. The success rate has gone down. 2000, it was about 30%. In 2009, we're looking at probably 21%. So it's tough out there for researchers to get grants. On the other hand, we're at 7%. There's quite a difference there, $3.64 per year per person for the last 10 years. I'm not including children. Renee Taylor, one children's study. So communication, what does this communicate to patients? We don't have any other measures of communication from the NIH other than output. Bias, there's entrenched medical bias. Ignorance, and certainly lack of scientific interest. Patients feel that they're certainly on the bottom rung of a priority list somewhere. And I want to go back to that one because I have something here. When I went to a Health and Human Services Chronic Fatigue Syndrome Advisory Committee, I want to talk about this bias and ignorance. Go through the security gate, go up to the cafeteria, and someone says to me, so how is your meeting going? Are you tired yet? Okay. We all the patients experience this, and I'm sort of seasoned to it, but I stood there with my mouth open. What is this person who's, very efficient at her job, I'm sure, but why is she talking to me about this? Leaving the building, going through, see the security guy there, and he says, well, how did that meeting, aren't you tired? Something, again. Well, I said, well, Dr. Jones runs a tight ship, is what I thought to say. We're used to that kind of ridicule, and that's what patients experience every day. So what do we think? I can imagine you know what we think. There's a lot of anger. You have the children, that little boy up there, that cute little boy is my son. Children, the grandmas. And what would you think if you were a grandma and your daughter had chronic fatigue syndrome, had nothing, and then you ended up with a granddaughter or grandson who was showing symptoms? One grandma told me it's obscene to feel that way, to know that and not be able to do anything. Some people still believe that chronic fatigue, those tired people, is chronic fatigue syndrome. I noticed throughout the day and a half here that people use the terms interchangeably. And I understand it's nice to abbreviate, or sometimes people really do mean the state of being, just tired. But there's certainly, it's wrong, like a boy named Sue. It's not going to work. Then there's a theory. There was that hurricane, there was that flood in New Orleans, so boy, you better count your blessings. And actually I found a study from the CDC, and I'm not making a comment about the CDC, but it was a count your blessings study. And I won't go into it. I do happen to have a copy of it with me. I've been hearing for 30 years that patients are hostile and that they're their own worst enemy. I'm a nice lady, been through a lot. Patients can be hostile. Oh, you can see 30 years frustration. Young people who are watching these folks, something has to be done. I think that the people sitting here you can lead, of course. You think about the problem begun today. Now, I know the government might shut down. There's a lot of issues and there's a lot of problems, but there's enough brain power in this room for people to think and to strategize. I've seen it in a day and a half. Continue to read the science. Stop entrenched medical bias. Someone says chronic fatigue, ha, ha, ha. And you can correct that. That doesn't take a lot of energy. Do you mean those people that have that chronic fatigue syndrome? Generate accurate medical information. That's more communicating to the public. The National or NIH used to have a booklet that was for an 800 number. I'm not suggesting this is what you do now. I'm saying it's an idea. And it was I don't recollect what year. I'm thinking maybe early 90s. It was the most requested booklet that they had in the most used 800 number. Strategized with other researchers. And there's some program officers here. You go further up the line. You educate people somehow. That's a lot of action, and I don't expect, but that would put pieces of the puzzle together. That would help us. You can also follow, you think about the problem beyond today, continue to read the science, and again, stop entrenched medical bias. It's certainly there. It's down into the public. It's everywhere. And of course, you can simply believe that it's a serious illness, sometimes life-threatening, and it's fatal. Then you communicate that in your workplace. Fatigue, no. Crud is better. My son, our son, was one who did not make it. He died July 4th, 2005. There's a paper back there that has all these sources listed. I realize you can't write these down. You can FOIA, and I would challenge anybody to prove me wrong. Thank you.